Okay, so I guess first off, I'm honestly gonna start off first and foremost apologizing because sorry for the delays because today's stream has had multiple delays. Originally, this was supposed to happen in the morning. It didn't because when it was raining, which by the way, it still is. Granted, it's definitely more of a, let's call it a light rain, not super heavy. As you can tell, the pavement around here is still a little bit wet, so we have a light rain. Definitely a bit more manageable. That and also plus the fact that I was a little bit hungover this morning, so I was of particularly low energy, and combined with the rain, I was just like, okay, I don't have the energy for stream now. Let's check the weather. Looked like the weather was going to ease up, but it didn't. Well, it's eased up, but it's still doing its thing. So, yeah. So yeah, so there was the delay scheduling it to the evening, and then there was also the delays from 6 to 6:15. And that was because my grandma called me. Because I have plans with her and other family members this upcoming weekend, and she called me to confirm those plans. And yes, whenever my grandma calls me, everything else gets dropped, and she's priority number one. Because, yeah, that's how I be. So, sorry for the multiple delays. There were a couple of things I was wanting to do a little bit more and extra for today, which I might do in post, because I was actually wanting to, at some point I was actually hoping to properly write up a recipe for today. Like something to be out there. And so that way people can actually have a recipe to use. Because these various cooking anime, they kind of give you guidelines for versus an actual recipe. So that's what it is. That's what it is. So with all that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and do a brief little introduction. Hello everyone, my name is Sugi Yamagawa, and I am just a regular guy VTubing my slow life hobbies in my 30s. And today we are making, actually I have to look at the word to be able to say this right, Camembert curry parfait, which is something I've never made. This is definitely a little bit more outside my realm of expertise, but it's also so far seems like a pretty simple, straightforward recipe. So we'll see how it goes. It seems simple. It involves curry seasoning and rice, so I'm pretty sure there's generally no possible way it could go wrong, as long as I don't do anything crazy. Whoa! Wow. Okay. That was smoke to the face. Okay. So, barring any other smoke and hopefully no more. Hopefully the rain doesn't get any heavier than where it's at now, because while I do have a shelter above me, that shelter does not have gutters and water runs off the side, and some of that water has been running into the chair I'm sitting in. Not a lot, but a little bit. So I should be fine. But yeah, this is also another reason why I didn't want to do this earlier. So enough of that. Let's actually start doing some prep. Onion! Sweet, glorious onion! Yay! Yay! I actually remembered to grab knife. You can't cut onion without knife. But yeah. And also I'm having beer because it's the evening, it's Sunday, I go to work tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna be having a couple beers. We're gonna also have some Heineken Zero. So that way I can keep having beer, but also not getting inebriated by the beer. So, we're going to go ahead and start with prep work first, which most of the prep work should involve dicing in this onion. And dicing onion, I might wash rice, I might not. I'm feeling 50-50 on that, so, but we'll worry about that when we get to that. Bloop. But yeah, I hope everyone else is having a much better... I mean, aside from being hungover, it's been a good Sunday. I've had a really good Sunday. Fun. Fun. Okay, so this outer layer of this onion is very papery. So this means it's going to be just like the biggest pain in the butt in the world to take off. So I'm going to be... So it looks like I'll be taking off basically what amounts to onion paper. It gets like real peely and flaky like this when it's kind of like this, and it's kind of a real pain in the butt to work with. I kind of like it when the final, because I could just take like this outermost layer and just poof all that away, but then I lose that entire layer of onion. And that's also like the biggest like layer, like single layer. So I tend to prioritize the pain in the butt way is generally what I do. I generally prioritize that. Granted, I will probably lose my ever-living patience with the second half of this and just immediately just like yeet the outermost like good like fleshy ring into the fire pit, and then be like, okay, cool, we'll just yeet this and I can now actually start to work with it. Woo! Yeah, I've got a little bit of pine in here, just to get the fire going. And yeah, that pine really likes the snap popple. It likes to make noise. It likes to do things. It was funny. It was actually throwing like embers at me earlier, and I was just like, "Oh, hey, you're violating my personal space. I don't appreciate that." But it's a fire, so it can probably be like, "Hey, what are you gonna do about it?" And it's like, nothing right now, but I can pour water on you later. And it's like, I don't care about that. I'm gonna be burnt to ashes by then. But yeah, we'll set that there. Ooh. Yeah, what a fun day. What a fun day. And I hope everyone else out there is having a good day. Yep. Yep. We're going for the yeet route. We're gonna take this off. And we're just gonna get rid of all this paper because I'm tired of playing with it. Granted, this is actually coming off in bigger chunks, so hinting me to work with it. Not entirely sure if it's got me caught up in its plan. So we will see. It's definitely coming off a lot It's coming off a lot nicer than how it was earlier, so I do appreciate that. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Ooh. But yeah, I hope all the rest of you are staying high and dry out there, because for my location on the rotation, it has been like nonstop raining. Well, hasn't been like nonstop, but it has been consistently raining for the entirety of today, and it's pretty much rained for the better part of yesterday. So it has been very wet, which sucked yesterday because I actually did trail work yesterday and I had to deal with playing in dirt when dirt is more like mud than dirt, and let's just go ahead and say that it's not fun. It's not fun. But got a little bit of good work done, so which is nice. It's always nice to get a little bit of like good work done. Definitely did a good amount of drainage clearing, because that's actually like really good weather for like finding drainages that need to be unclogged. It's definitely good weather for like light trail maintenance type activities versus like heavy trail maintenance activities, which we did. So I worked with a staff member from the park, and we did rock armoring on 2 sections of trail. And rock armoring is basically if you've got like wet spots or spots of the trail where water likes to cross the trail, what you do is you basically lay rocks. You dig the dirt down, and then you lay rocks into that. And then, because the rocks are harder and firmer than dirt, they hold up better. And also, when hikers need to cross those wet spots when they're wet, they have rocks they can step on, not muddy soil. And it tends to hold up better, and the trail's better for it. Which, sometimes rock armoring can be a lot of work, but otherwise, what we were doing yesterday was, as far as rock armor work goes, not too bad. Not too bad. Because sometimes it can be a lot of work to do. Because if you're wanting to, because the rocks we were installing were like anywhere from like an inch plus to less. Most of them were less than an inch. So nothing really all that bad. Nothing all that bad. They can get bad if they're larger though. Because if you're doing like 3+ inches depth of rock, and you're dealing with like reasonably large pieces of rock, like rocks that measure 2 square feet plus, that's work. That's some serious work right there. Those are certainly the more challenging days, and the days where you want more bodies than 2. But yeah, yesterday was pretty easy work as far as like trail work is concerned. And it's actually been a long while since been a while, because I think it's probably been since March since I got out and did a little bit of trail work, so I was definitely overdue for it. And apparently yesterday was like the only project day scheduled for this month of May. So it's like, okay, I have to get out today where it's rainy. And I've already been advertised to that I'm going to be playing in dirt, which is going to be better described as mud. Fun. Well, overall, I mean, I was pretty tired after that, but you know what? The town outside the park has a Dairy Queen. And you better believe I got me a Blizzard after that. So I treated myself to a Blizzard. And that was like my yippee ice cream for the weekend. So I got some good ice cream. So I got some good ice cream afterwards, which was nice. Whoa. Cut a little deep, folded it. Let's see. Can I do... Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. I want to keep it to just the stub when I'm dicing onions. Basically just this little bit. I'm going to use as much onion as I can. Let's get as much value out of the onion as I can. And I don't have to like super worry about it because these are Costco onions and originally I was actually buying white onions from Costco. But for some, I think it might be because of the higher sugar content. The white onion, no, it was sweet onions, That's what I was buying. I was buying sweet onions, and because of the higher sugar content, they were starting to mold on me a lot quicker. And so I would basically be throwing out like 2 to 3 onions out of a 5-pound bag, which was not a lot, but a decent chunk of onion. So I switched to buying. So these are yellow onions. And so far, they've been holding up really good as far as, like, not rotting on me. They'll kind of get some mold on their skin, but the mold doesn't really... But that's, like, as I get towards, like, the last few onions and such. So I've been a lot happier with how well... These have kept better. They've kept better. And when you're a household of 1, you certainly value stuff that keeps well. So that's onions prepped. So I'm going to take this, set it off to the side, because I need to clear up some room. So I had decisions to make. I have several decisions to make over the course of this recipe, so I gotta consider those, because I was kind of hoping to be a little bit more prepared for today. And then I could be like, okay, have things a bit more thought out prior to, which I try to do, especially for project streams, because I don't want to be like, okay, I am at a point where I now need to like send this piece through the table saw, and I don't have my table saw set up for it. So, whereas the fun thing with these campfire cooking streams, I can be a little bit more on the fly with it. But the current debate. And no, it's not butter. It's rice. So, the current debate I'm having is whether or not I wash my rice, which I'm leaning towards washing the rice. Just to wash the rice. But yeah, we'll wash rice. We will do some rice wash. And that was also another thing. I wanted to grab a few more measuring containers just to get my proportions a bit more dialed in. So we're gonna be flying pretty loosey-goosey on our measuring, which I hope you're okay with that. So let's see here. How much rice do I want to throw at this? I think let's go ahead and throw 1 cup of rice at this. Yeah. Oh yeah. 1 cup of rice looks like a pretty good amount of rice. Granted, we are going to be making up quite a bit. So we're gonna do. I think I'm gonna go with 1.5 cups. Okay. We'll go with a cup and a half of rice. That's what we'll do. I'll live with that. I will live with that. And we'll see if my... We'll see if I live to regret my decisions or not. But we'll get that reasonably filled up, and then give it a nice stir. Just a really nice stir. And once our water starts to really get like milky and cloudy, or like how it's doing right now, we'll just take it and pour it off. And we're going to repeat this a few times. A few times. Because this is kind of like how you wash rice. Is you basically like put the rice in water, give it a nice stir doodles. What we're trying to do is get the starch off. That way the rice grains are a little bit more, they kind of like tack up a little bit more. Because if you have like a lot of starch in your rice when you cook it, you kind of end up with it ends up to be a little bit gooey, if you will. So we'll do this one more time. With a really generous helping of water. Bada bang, bada boom. Cheers. We'll just give this a real good, nice stir. And the fun thing about like doing like a hot cook, like what we're about to do, is you really don't have to worry a whole lot about like contamination from the hands, because you're about to subject this to very warm, if not hot, conditions for an extended period of time. Okay. So that's rice wash. So, I've got my pan over here, and I'm gonna make sure I get my rice into my pan. I have some stragglers, but I know how to take care of those guys. But yeah. But that's kind of like one of the charms of this recipe, is that it's basically like what's called a one-pan recipe, where nearly all the cooking is done in one pan. I've been using some bowls, I've been using some other stuff to help me prep. But as far as the actual cooking is concerned, I really just need this one pan. So with this empty, I have to prep an ingredient. And that ingredient is beef bouillon. I saw someone online talking about this recipe, and hi buddy, I made it. Hey, good God. Hey, GGT. And granted, what are you talking about? You made it. Like, I finally made it. Because I started this like 15 minutes later than what I wanted to, but my grandma gave me a call. And I had to take that call. So I talked to her. But hey, we're actually in the we're still kind of in like prep, because the cook on this is actually really simple. It's really simple. which is actually nice. Which is a big thing why I'm really interested in doing this. Is it's simple. So I got my bullion cube in here. And I'm gonna be so I've got my tea kettle on the fire. And I want to use some hot water to dissolve it. So I'm gonna pick up these wet fire resistant gloves and pour some water. Oh. Woohoo! Oh. Okay. Oh. Fire seems like it's dying down a little bit. I'm gonna throw a piece on there. Woo! A nice cold beer to enjoy. Yeah. Cheers to that. Oh. Grab a whisk. And get this bullion cube fully waxed in. So, I think now's a really good time to talk about the original recipe and notes from it. And that is, originally it calls for chicken bouillon, or at least the recipe I found online. I don't like the taste of chicken, so we're going with beef. I like beef. Also, the original recipe called for what is it? Sausage. So, I'm not a fan of sausage, so I'm not using sausage. So, aside from the beef bouillon I am working with, I'm trying to make this a little bit more vegetarian friendly. If you wanted to make this like fully vegetarian, probably use some like a vegetable broth, or if you have access to really nice Asian grocery stores, you can use like a nice dashi stock. And if you have those options, by all means feel free to use those options. If you want a more vegetarian thing out of this. Me, I am probably the weirdest form of vegetarian in the fact that I'm just kind of a vegetarian. I'm not like super vegetarian. Okay. So, that should be a nice broth, but granted, I do wish to give it a smell. Ooh. It smells actually pretty good. Oh. A lot left of this. Yep, that's done. Next. So, next up is the good old Kirkland Lager. Now this is something that's really good for like just having like as you're making a meal. Okay. So, doing reasonably well with our prep. I think we're at the point where we can actually start combining something. So, a lot of this is I'm going to be doing based off eyeball. Based off the amount of stuff I wish to have within my pan. So I want to have a reasonable good amount of onions, but I don't want to like overkill it. Okay. I have a basket of goodies in front of me. That goes back. I want you. And I want you. So I've got some sweet corn. And I also have some peas and carrots. So these are also going to be additions into the dish. These are going to... So we're going to have onion, corn, peas, and carrots for the veg additions. By the power of fiber, I compel you. So we're just going to... A decent helping. I don't want to go like overboard, because if I go overboard, then I'm going to have like too much of one or two things. Because the thing with like a dish like this is you kind of want to balance everything. And since I am trying to build this dish, I'm trying to build this dish in such a way where I only want to get like 2 servings out of it. 2 to 3 servings. Because anything more than that would be too much for me. So I've got my onions in here, I've got my peas, I've got my carrots, I have a lot of good stuff in here. So now I'm going to give this a nice stir to just fully incorporate everything. With the purpose of the stir is I'm kind of eyeballing my ratios here. Because I'm trying to look at how much rice I have compared to peas, how much rice I have compared to carrots and corn and all that stuff. And right now, as far as I can tell, this is looking good. This is looking really good. Like if I cook this as it is right now, may the fiber compel you. Yes. There's a bit of irony here because there's actually not a lot of fiber representation. Onions are going to have a good amount of fiber. Peas, yes. Carrots, yes. Corn, kind of. But the rice really isn't. Because I'm working with a white rice here, so there's really not a lot. There's not like a ton of fiber in this. Certainly more fiber than there is in other things. So. Do a quick review of my ingredients. And also I should be getting these onions out of the way. Okay. So, onions have been taken care of. I have a decent view on my other ingredients, so we can actually start working on doing a little bit more building here. So, for what we're trying to go for here is nice amount of solid ingredient. Oh. I talked about sausage. I talked about gearing this a little bit more vegetarian friendly. I've excluded sausage. Also, this calls for an egg. I've excluded the egg. So we're just going to have the beef bouillon being really the only thing that fully disqualifies this from being 100% vegetarian. So. Actually, we need to talk about curry powder. We're going to be adding some curry powder to it. We're going to be really generous with our curry powder here. So we're just going to hit it with a real nice, generous helping of curry powder. And then after that, we're going to add our beef broth. And at this point, I feel like it is very prompt to give this a good stir. Because eventually we're going to be adding this to the fire. And when we add it to the fire, basically what we're going to do is we're going to heat it up. And then we're going to let the steam made by the fire cooking and all that good stuff basically cook all this all the way through. So it's reasonably mixed in. So we now get to add the secret ingredient. Apple juice. Supposedly this is the secret ingredient. At least in the anime, they said this was like the secret ingredient. So I think, I mean, looking generally at my pan, we'll go in with 1 cup of apple juice. So we'll add 1 cup of apple juice, and then once again, we'll give this a nice stir. So we have, basically, what we got going on right now is we have a really nice amount of fluid, a really nice amount of stuff immersed in what is basically a broth. So, one moment. Let me grab a grill grate, because I need a place to place this. Granted, I don't need this anymore, but I'm going to leave it there because I want to. So, I'm going to add my grill grate kind of on the side, because I don't want a terrible lot of heat. Yeah, we got one more step. One more step. So before we can set this on there, well, actually we could set it on there or do this, but I'm going to do this before set it on there. But as it goes into this cooking process, we are going to be adding a little bit of butter. And the butter is just going to help add a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Add just a little bit of butter. And this can now hit the fire. So our main goal with this is we want it to cook on a somewhat low heat. We want just enough heat to get it to a boil. Well, not even to a boil. We just want to simmer this. So I'm going to kind of place it there, so it will get enough heat to get up to a boil. Get up there. And then after that, I'm going to pull it closer towards me, a little bit more on this edge. I'll kind of probably manipulate my firewood a little bit here and try to get the temperature dialed in. And then we'll want to let it cook in just like, we just want to let it cook at a simmer for a while. And just let it do its thing. So yeah. Actually, I mean, one of the tempting things about it was the fact that it's actually a pretty straightforward recipe. Granted, I don't know if this lid is actually the proper lid for this pan, but it does sit a little bit offset, so if steam builds up too much, it will let the steam out. That's a good thing. And then also, kids, remember to hydrate. I'll set that there. Because I will be using that fork to check it. So basically, what we're trying to accomplish is we want to get it up to a boil. We want to heat it up, get it enough to the point where it kind of gets to a boil, kind of gets to a point where we start, get that butter melted, we get things start cooking, but then we want to reduce it to a simmer. And when we want to reduce it to a simmer, I'm going to try to bring it towards me. And if I need to push the firewood further away in the fire pit, that's what I'll do. And we'll go from there. But yeah. This is a pretty simple, straightforward recipe. It's basically combining a bunch of ingredients in one pan, cooking them, and then enjoying the results. So, I do know I did not grab a spatula in my rush to get ready for today, so at some point I'll go grab a spatula, but I'm not worried about that. And now it will probably happen at some point in, the future. The future. I want to set that down there because I want that to be there. Yeah. But yeah, I hope everyone out there has been having a good weekend. Other than this morning's hangover, it's been a wonderful weekend for me. And I do like the fact that it's overcast, rainy, but I still have a really good amount of that. Are you telling me putting things on hot things makes food? On the hot things makes food? Yes. Yes, that's how you cook. You can literally just eat. I mean, if you truly want to, you could just take this rice and just eat it as you could eat this as cereal. You could eat rice like cereal. But if you did that, I would look at you like how people look at me when I eat cereal. Because I eat cereal without milk. And people look at me strange for just eating cereal as cereal and without the milk. But hey, the world needs black magic. Yeah, it might be black magic to eat cereal without milk. Okay, so it's starting to bubble a little bit. It's definitely getting steamy. So I'll work on kind of pulling that a little bit back, turning it a little bit, and we'll check it in a couple of minutes. But in good news, though, it looks like the rain finally stopped. Rain finally stopped. Hopefully the rain's stopped. But yeah. So. I'm not sure what I would immediately wish to talk about, because, like, there's a lot of things I can talk about, but there's also, like, I don't know. I don't know how much I want to talk about. I will say, granted, this is also something I'll probably say towards the end of the stream, is that, next week, there will only be one stream next week, and it will be on Wednesday night. We'll be here at the fire pit once again, but the theme will not be around cooking. theme is actually going to center around... I'm going to build a Lego set. And it's going to kind of just be a little bit more themed on just being like a chill hangout stream. Because I just don't... Because I'm going to be out of town next weekend for a wedding. And I was just... Being perfectly honest, I was just deeply undecided on what I wanted to do. I was just like... And... Because I like debated this for like a solid like 2 days. I was like, man, what do I want to do next week? Right now, the project pipeline for like streams is looking really good right now. Like the week after that, like the week after next week, we're definitely gonna be doing. I think I want to do some hand plane restoration work. Is the Lego set thing? Is the Lego set thing? I think it is. Maybe. I have one of the... I can't... It's fine. Dude, you're fine. Dude, you're fine. I'm the person getting drunk over here. But, yeah, I've got a Lego... I have one of the Lego botanicals. It's because I'm a silly old bear. Yes, you are a very silly old bear. Actually, I don't know how I feel about calling you an old bear because I'm older than you. If I call you an old bear, what does that make me? Old human? Probably. Okay, cool. So, we have ourselves... Oh man, that's not... Really nice simmer. Go ahead and give this a... Because nothing looks like it's burning good. Also kind of bring it a little bit further down. Closer to me. So that way I kind of get a little bit further from the heat. Because I just want it to simmer. Old sage. Dude, if you want to call me an old sage, I'll take it. I'll take it. I like being called sage. I like being called a hermit. I like being called an old man who communes with nature way too much. Because I like me some nature, man. And you know this very well. That I like me some nature. Nature makes me happy. And speaking of nature, bird that's me. Pretty nice song, but I can't... I would like to be able to nail down where it's coming from, but I can't. But yeah, But yeah, things around the homestead have been quite exciting. Like, it definitely feels like spring is in full swing right now. I finally finished my hop trellis project yesterday. Took a lot of work to get that done. Just because it's a big thing. It's a physically big thing, because historically I grew my hops on a basketball goal, and that was like, let's say 10 feet minimal up to 12 feet tall of vertical growing space for hops. And the thing you gotta understand about growing hops is once the hop vine reaches the top of its trellis, it will branch and immediately go in the flower. So when I had hops on like the shorter trellises, they would hit the top quicker, and then they'll go in the flower. And it's like, hey buddy, I don't need you going to the flower right now. I would like for all of you to go to the flower at the same time. Yeah, they weren't being very participant-y about that. So I decided to raise the hop trellis up to where now everything is at least 15 feet, if not close to 16 feet of growing space vertically, and hopefully that'll give them a whole lot of growing space to get to where they want to be. And because if some grow quickly and some grow slowly, even if they grow slowly, if I get far enough into the year, usually hops start flowering late July, August. Really around the July-August transition is when hops flower in my location. So if I can get them to flower consistently, like all the vines, that's a win. That will be a win. I'll be happy with it. Okay, cool. Hops are happy. Granted, hops are also just real easy plants to take care of. They are incredibly easy plants to take care of. If you want to get into growing hops and you're scared to because you kill everything, I'm sorry, but if you can kill a hop, that's impressive. That's truly impressive to kill a hop. Because hops are really low. They're generally low maintenance. Like, even in more droughtish conditions, I don't even water them. Like, once I get them trellised up, I don't really worry about them until in harvest time. It's good because it takes a lot of effort to get them trellised up. But once I get them trellised up, then it's like, okay, cool. You're trellised up. You have what you need to do the thing you need to do. I'm not going to worry about you. You're good. You're fine. I'm not going to worry about you. And that's what I do. That's what I do. Hydration. Yeah. So that's like the hops. Hops are doing well. Blackberries are doing well. Or at least they're acting like they're doing well. They haven't flowered yet, but I'm starting to see flower buds from the blackberry. Potatoes. Potatoes are doing... My container potatoes are doing phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Which... I'm feeling spicy because of the beer, so... Hey, you want to take a look at my potatoes and tell me how good my potatoes are? By all means, tell me how good my potatoes are. So we're going to go up to there. Yep. Look at those potatoes. Look at how incredible those potatoes are. Those potatoes are doing really well. Really happy with my potatoes. And... can I eat? No, not that direction. This direction. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And now I can't get back my exact camera angle I want, but this is fine. This is fine. Okay, so it's been a little bit. I like taters. I like taters too. Eventually, those potatoes you just saw, I will be harvesting and cooking them on stream. I will do that. Oh, smokes, it smells amazing. Okay, cool. So, give this a pretty stir. We'll try to move this a bit. I need to move this firewood a bit closer away. Because this was like slightly actively boiling, and we don't want it to actively boil. We just want it to just steam and cook. That's how rice cooks. Rice cooks with a steaming action. Pull that a little bit further off, get it a little bit further from the heat. And as long as it just continues to steam, we're good. We're good. We're 100% good. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be working on... I will probably at some point make a recipe for this today. I'm not entirely 100% sure if I'm going to do that, but I probably will do that. Wait. Yeah. Ooh, okay. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Hot some big focus. Fire's doing fire stuff. Even if the embers are a little bit on the purpley side. But I like working with this webcam versus the fancy one because this one's a lot less fuss. Whereas the fancy one's a lot more fuss. Granted, the fancy one would have probably been a good tool for this stream simply due to the fact that we're probably going to be on the shorter side of things. As far as like stream time is concerned. Because this isn't going to be a super long stream. Because we're basically like just letting this stuff cook right now, and it's going to be doing its thing for a little while. Because eventually we're going to add some cheese to it. We're going to steam the cheese with the food. And then that's only going to take like probably 10 minutes to like cook through. Which unfortunately I do not have the correct cheese. Because God damn it, Meyer, you lied to me. Because I went to my local supermarket this morning to get ingredients for today. And Kroger does carry the cheese I wanted. Well, some Krogers do. Nicer Krogers. My Kroger's mid. And I'm going to be honest. My Kroger's mid. I have a mid Kroger. So I was kind of expecting that. I was like, okay, cool. Who else reasonably would have the cheese I need? And Meijer had it. Well, Meijer on its website said they had it. And I went to Meijer and I found the spot in the store where my cheese should have been. And it wasn't there. Well, they actually had nothing. And no cheese. Well, they had a cheese. One moment. And and they had a brine cheese, which is a similar cheese to what I want, but it's not like the exact cheese I want. Because I want a what's the word? I have to look at the thing. A Camembert cheese. That's the cheese I want for today. They did not have that cheese. But this one is basically it's similar. It's kind of it's similar, but this is, I think, a softer cheese. It uses a slightly different. This uses a lower butter fat milk concentrate compared to the original cheese. So this is similar. And this is what, because this was literally the thing in the spot of the cheese I was supposed to have. Which was kind of fun because this is like the sub cheese. So I was just like, okay, fine. We'll go with this. This is the thing I was looking at as a possible substitute if I got to that point. But that was also another thing when I do these silly streams is Sometimes I'll talk about some like really niche ingredient and I'll go looking for it and it's like, oh wowie, that's actually really hard to find. Well, that's my life. But yeah, I at least managed to get the at least have the substitute. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Okay, water time. Granted, this is... I'm not hearing... Granted, that lid's warm, though. It's definitely heated. Hey, now. Let me... Not getting too heated. That's the big caboose. If it gets too heated. If it gets too heated, then it might want to burn. Oh no. Don't get stuck in there. Thank you. Okay. Because as you can see, I have a lot of heat here, not a lot of heat here. If you look at it, you see not a lot of heat, not a lot of stuff going on. Sure. I think we'll let this cook for like another... We'll give this 15 minutes, I think. Well, no, not 15 minutes. No. I think I'll do... I think I'll do 5. 5 minutes sounds good. I'll give it 5 more minutes to cook. And then I'm going to hit this with some water. And then we'll add the cheese, and then we'll let the cheese steam with the water. And it should be pretty good at that point. I mean, I'm actually really surprised by when I take this lid off how well it smells. It smells really good, but I attribute a lot of that due to the curry seasoning. Granted, you can tell that the curry seasoning has really like mixed itself in well with the rice and such by how yellow the rice is. So I'm actually pretty optimistic to how well this is gonna turn out. It'd be pretty good. Should be. But yeah. I will say I do feel the bladder a filling. So, we are 1 hour in. I want to give this about like 3.5 more minutes to cook. Okay. I'm going to throw on the BRB screen. I'm going to hit the restroom right quick and we'll get back to making some food. Okay. And we're back. So, I gotta say, walking away from this and then walking back towards it again, that smells really good. This smells really good. So I'm really interested in taking a look at it in just a couple of seconds. Woo! Actually take it off the heat. Oh, oh man, this looks, oh no. Oh no, this is a lot of food. A lot of food. Okay, cool. So it's definitely not sticking, which is good. That's what I want. And it definitely looks like it's cooked through. I'm gonna take a little bit of a bite of the rice just to make sure I've got the rice reasonably cooked. Okay. Okay. That's actually good. So it seems so the rice seems a little bit on the hard side. But otherwise it's good. Otherwise it's like if I were to cook this for just a bit longer, this rice would be very happy. So what I'm gonna do now, no fork. No, bad fork. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this cup of water at it. And a cup of water is just supposed to just like help kind of absorb a little bit of that heat. You need to even it out. Because it's really hard to even out heat over a fire like this. Then, so I want to get this as reasonably as I can. Yeah. Ooh. We're gonna crack the lid on this cheese. Okay. Oh. Okay, you go there. But yeah, there's our cheese. So that's the cheese that gets added to this dish. So take all that, throw it back on the grill grate, and we're just gonna let that cook. Well, ideally that will steam for 10 minutes. I think. We'll go with 10 minutes. 10 minutes sounds pretty good to me. As far as like the amount of time that needs to do what it needs to do. Because that rice is not 100% done, but it's really close to being done. Okay. So, rice is doing well. And I'm basing everything off the cook time of the rice or how I feel like the rice tastes, because that is the ingredient that's kind of the hardest to cook. Really the carrots, the peas, the corn, all that just needs to get like nice and warm and cooked at a reasonably warm temperature for a reasonable amount of time, which is pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy. Rice is, if you cook it too much, you end up with soggy starch. Cook it too little, and you're seriously eating some dry cereal there. So, rice is the thing I'm trying to tag all my other activities to. So as long as the rice isn't overcooked, I'm good. I'm almost done with this. So I need to grab another. But this one is a 0. So we'll have a Heine 0. I feel like this is something good to have while I'm waiting for my food to cook. Because once the food is like fully cooked and done, then we can actually have a real one. But for now, like Heine 0 is good. This is also kind of how I like to drink beer nowadays. It's fun to have a couple of actually alcoholic beers and then throw in an A beer, low alcohol beer, as a spacer, and then that kind of gives my liver time to play catch up with the alcohol in my bloodstream, so I don't get like too messed up. And then I also do a healthy amount of hydrating. I try to do that to kind of help balance things and make things good. Actually, I think, let's do a thing. Let's do a thing. Because I want to try this out. Let's see. This might be ooh. And you know what? It's a little bit more in-focused. This is actually reasonable. Okay. Cool. Because I did want to do a little bit... Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. My camping chair is... It's wide. And the armrests really like to mess with things. So... Yeah, but yeah, for the thing with the camera just now, on Wednesday night, I'm planning to do my Lego building around the campfire. Because, hey, Cozy Campfire Fun seems to be one of the things that does better on my channel, and it does better, and I like doing it. And at the end of the day, I like doing it. It's one of my larger motivations, so we're probably going to be building Legos here on Wednesday night. And I kind of wanted to like bring the camera in so you could see like a little bit more of the action here, but also still see fire. Because, I mean, hey, like, I'm alright. But that's the start of the show. That Fire Coon is who people show up for. Me, they don't care. Fire Coon, they show up for Fire Coon. That's why people show up to my streams, is to watch Fire Coon. They just want to be like, oh, hell yeah, fire. Let's see. I'm not sure how much longer I want to let that cook. The good news is I don't hear boiling water sounds, because if I heard boiling water sounds, I would probably be smelling burnt rice. So, we're just going to continue. Honestly, I think the best thing I can do for this is just let it sit. Let it sit, steam, do what it needs to do. Actually, wait a second. Oh, I actually bought a thing of parsley flakes today. And I don't know if I've got to do anything to open them. I don't know if it's got a seal. It probably does. It indeed does. Look, there's a seal there. Who would have thought there would have been a seal there? We're gonna open up the seal and make sure. Ooh. Is that the cheese? Okay. So, yes. The Camembert is supposed to be the cheese. That cheese wasn't available. So, I have a substitute. And the substitute is brine. This cheese it has a higher buttermilk content than the Camembert. Camembert. Yeah. It's French, and I am very uninitiated with the ways of French words, but I think this variety of cheese is a British cheese. And it's basically similar to the cheese Oh, Brian's tasty. Oh, sweet. Good to know. Good to know. Because the Camembert is kind of supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be like a harder cheese. But I literally went to a grocery store today. I think it's Camembert. You know what? That sounds right. That sounds right. But yeah, I went to a store that supposedly stocked the cheese I needed, and in this place was this one container of this, the Brie, and so looking up online and various things like that. This was the substitute cheese. Well, this was similar. Because I was seeing a lot of, like, comparisons between this one and the Camembert cheese. So they were being treated very similarly. So this was available. This is what I bought because this is what I could get my hands on. Because supposedly, Meyer had the cheese I wanted, but the cheese was not in stock. And they had one thing of this, so I walked away with this. And that was like this morning. Because this morning I was like running around trying to like make sure I have ingredients for like today's stream. And I did reasonably well in sourcing the amount of ingredients I needed. However, this kind of getting the actual cheese I needed was like a tricky thing. I suspected this because I saw a meme about there was a meme on Blue Sky recently where someone was like, the average Food Network show is just like, hey, my name is yada yada, blah blah blah. And today I'm going to show you how to make this really nice dish with stuff you already have. And the stuff you already have is like yak tears from like Siberian yaks and like all these like really weird off ingredients. And it's like, yeah, that sounds like the average Food Network show. Granted, the thing with anime is that they're like, hey, we're gonna make this cool food, but they don't get into the ratios really. They don't tell you. It's not very recipe, which is kind of a direction I want to take some of the stuff that I make here, because I actually want to be like, hey, I want to actually give you guys some like guidelines, some at least guidelines, if not like an actual like blueprint to how to actually make this stuff. Is one of my ideas, because I think that will actually like really take what I'm doing in like a really good direction. Yeah. Granted, also one of my favorite animes is going to get a second season sometime this year, and I'm really looking forward to it because, man, there's going to be some content. I'm going to get some content out of that. Well, I'm going to watch a show I like, and then also I'm going to get some content. And also, Dad's Old Shop. I've seen your reply on Blue Sky. I haven't actually looked at the Google Drive yet because I was too busy getting ready for this. So, sorry I haven't gotten back to you on that, but I do want to take a look at that at some point. But I'll get around to it when I can. Because for various reasons, this stream got pushed back initially because of cornucopious amounts of rain. The rain has actually stopped. Even though it was raining when I started. But the rain's kind of like died off, which was kind of the game plan with moving it to the evening hours. And yeah. So, rain died off. Oh, no sweat. It's there when you're ready for it. Oh, thank you very much. Because I like my workbench. But I do want to see like how a woodworking vise attaches to a workbench. Because I've seen some of the kits, and I know it's like a plate with like the arm screw and another plate, and then there's like basically the part where you have like the handle, and that you have one plate mount to workbench, and then another plate that you can, generally speaking, you want to put like some sort of like block of wood in, something that's like sacrificial, and then that basically is what creates the vise. Which in my case, that means I'm going to have to drill some metal if I want to mount it to the side of my workbench, because one of the things I actually like about my workbench is that it has a lip between the frame that supports it and the bench top. So if I want to put like clamps on like my edge, it's very easy for me to do so. But oh yeah, tons of varieties. He has plenty. Oh, ooh, oh no. Ooh, lots of videos. I like that. Granted, I'm pretty sure someone like you, who's been around on this platform for the amount of time you've have seen Woodworking for Mere Mortals, his channel. Is his name Steve Ramsey? Is it Steve Ramsey Woodworking for Mere Mortals? I think that's the like full channel name. He had his like shop build furniture series go on sale back in December, and I bought it. Yeah, I bought it, and I haven't looked at it since. Granted, I do need to, at some point, I want to make a small build Oh yeah, okay, cool. You've heard of him. He's a great guy. He's a really great guy. I really like how down to earth he is versus like other woodworkers on this platform. But yeah, I did get a what do I call this? A standing belt sander? That's what I want to call this. I want to call it a standing belt sander. Basically a belt sander, but it's on like a frame that you set on a table, and then it also has like a side thing that has, it's like a circular sander. I haven't, he's very approachable. He's not condescending. He's great. He's really great. He's probably the most professional woodworker I like. Because he does like really good work, but he's all like when you watch his stuff, you can tell that he is a hobbyist. Like, he doesn't do this for like the money. He does it because he likes doing it. And that's the thing I truly enjoy with that. I truly treasure with woodworking YouTube, and I am yammering quite a bit, and I'm getting really concerned about this. So I'm going to take this off the heat. Whoa, there's a lot of weight of food here. And let's see what we get. Ooh. I was expecting that cheese to melt a little. Okay, so let's see here. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay. So I don't have really anything burning just yet. And I'm really liking this conversation about woodworking YouTubers. So I'm just gonna we're just gonna set that back on the fire pit, and we're just gonna continue to let that cheese steam. Because yeah, like woodworking for mere mortals is like he's a treasure. Woo! I'm not sure if the mic picked that up, but like, I'm pretty sure a full quart of water just fell off my canopy on the far side. But yeah, it was raining earlier. But yeah, I really like him. But I will say my favorite woodworker on this platform, hands down, is Tokyo Llama. I am a huge fan of Tokyo Llama because he is very much just a regular guy doing woodworking to work on his own house. Hello, it came through. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I was like, man, that made a fair bit of noise. But yeah, Tokyo Llama, by far, favorite woodworker on YouTube. Because he is a guy who's just working on his home and just doing projects as he comes along, working on his home. He's very approachable, but he also tries to be thorough, and because I know, like, in some of like his earlier videos when he was working on his home, he was doing like when he had like actual like professional carpenters, like he was like asking them questions like, where do you buy materials, where do you buy tools, yada yada yada. Like, I really like that. I really like him because, and that's the thing I genuinely think like there should be more of a market for here, is just people who do like woodworking and like various things as like just a hobby. Because there's a lot of I saw a video or two of his before, I think. Yeah, wait, pillow restoration. Ooh, wait. If it's pillow restoration, I think because I don't think Tokyo Llama did that. Who was it? I know who that is. I know who did the pillar restoration. His name starts with a D. I need to actually. Sorry, I have to look through my. I have to look through my my YouTube subscriptions. Okay, Dylon Iwakuni. I think that's the one who did the pillar restoration. Wait, did Tokyo Llama do it? Because I don't remember Tokyo Llama doing a pillar restoration video. But it's also been a while since I've binged his channel. Because I found him quite some time ago. Because he usually does stuff like themed around his house. Because like that's kind of like the main stuff. Because pillar restoration sounds admittedly a little high level for him. As he's talked about like buying the house, like the things that need to be done to get it up to spec. I could be wrong. It was like for an exterior doorway. Ooh. Okay. I think I know who. Ooh, wait a second. I think I know that video. I'm pretty sure I've seen that video. Because that video, yeah, because I think that video was done by Dylon Japanese eyes. They're a little bit different than English eyes. Iwakuni. But Dylon Iwakuni did a replacing post and beans in a Komi Naka. And I think that video was the one you saw. Because I've seen that video. Because I think that was the restoration. Well, maybe not. I feel like that's more repair versus restoration. Because basically what he did was like the first like 18 inches of the pillar as it contacted the foundation stone. He basically cut it off, did some Japanese joinery, and then made another piece to replace the piece that he cut out. Which is actually a really nice use case of that technique. And because you generally see a lot of those like high level Japanese joints being used for like temples and such, but to actually see like one of those high level joints being used for a what would be considered maybe by some a low level application, it's like whatever. I'm checking this. I'm yammering a lot. I'm yammering a whole lot. Ooh, okay. So that cheese definitely seems like it's steamed. I wonder how firm it is. The pot's definitely quite warm. Okay. So definitely seems like, I know on this side it feels a little bit sticky, but here it's smooth. So I feel like we're pretty good with our dish for today. So and of course, as I finally decide to do that, brain decides to be like, hey, remember we're a thing? But yeah. Yeah, I don't have to worry about county burn bans at all right now. Because it is pretty much rained nearly not. It's not, I would say out of the last 48 hours, it's rained for 40 at my location on the rotation. So there's no burn bans here. As I get into late July, I'll probably be seeing more burn bans. Yeah, I think late July, August is usually when we'll, because we'll have burn bans eventually, usually, and I will be abiding by those. And also, when it's like, because let's see, I'm trying to remember last year. I think when it gets to being like over 80 degrees, being around the campfire kind of starts to suck because of the heat it puts out. Granted, I do now have my handy dandy little metal fence that kind of gives a little bit of a blocking of the radiant heat. So this has definitely been a really nice upgrade. It helps keep, because I can still like feel the warmth and such, but I don't get like blasted by the heat. Because there's been a couple times I've been hanging around the fire pit, and it's just been like, okay, I'm sweating an uncomfortable amount, and I'm in some reasonably deep. Well, it's really hard to show, but I'm in some like reasonably comfortable clothes. Granted, I am wearing pants right now because it's in like the low 50s Fahrenheit. But yeah. So I feel like we're pretty good with being done today. Well, we're not 100% done, but I'm doing the last step now. We're going to hit this with some parsley flakes. So, unfortunately, this is not 100%. Okay, so as I'm serving, I'll go ahead and talk about recipe differences between what I've made today versus what was in the... So, biggest one I've talked a lot about is cheese. I had to make a cheese substitution because of what was available to me. That'd be life. That'd be life to us all. And so that's one. Two. The original recipe in the show called for sausage to be mixed in as like another protein. I'm not a fan of sausage, regardless of the time of day or the weather or whatever. I've never liked sausage once in my life. I've admitted that. I thought about substituting hot dogs, but I was like, nah. Let's try to gear this in a more vegetarian direction, so that way, like, a little bit more people can be interested in this. So that was the decision I made. So I fully omitted the sausage. Another ingredient that was used, I made a slight change to. Well, kind of a slight change. And that is the chicken bouillon was called for, but I subbed chicken bouillon out for beef because I don't like the taste of chicken. I'm a weirdo. I don't like chicken. I've never liked chicken at any point in my life. So I subbed the chicken out for beef. So I've done a substitution, I've done an omission, and I also had to do a substitution with the cheese, but generally speaking, here is the dish as it is in the show. Actually, wait a second. Sorry, I have to get like I want to get like a really good thumbnail for later. But yeah. Looks really good. Smells, well, it's been really hard to smell, but when I took a bathroom break earlier and came back, I could like really smell it, and it smells really good. So what I'm gonna do, take my fork, I'm gonna kind of just take a quarter out of this cheese. Or at least that's kind of the goal. That's my goal. Looks like I might be successful. We'll just kind of get a... Ooh, look at that melted cheese. Okay, good thing I have 2 forks. Somewhere. Here. So yeah, let's go ahead and just... Oh man, look at that. Ooh. Very nice. Let's get a plating spatula. Coupled with a plate. But yeah. Yeah, the rain's back with a vengeance. It is kind of like the reason I was looking around just now. Ooh. Man, this looks good. And even better, I didn't burn the rice. I was getting a little nervous with it because of I knew I was going to be like steaming this for like an extended period of time, and I didn't know how. Oh. Go ahead and just get another picture. But yeah. Here is the... Well, I can't call this... Camembert curry panoff. I have to call it brine curry. Well, brine curry panoff. So. Bit of a clearance for... Bit of a clearance for the palate, but also it's a little chilly. Getting a little cold. I want to throw another piece of wood on this. Also, I don't have to worry about like burning any. Woo! So we'll throw that on there, and we will take a bite. We'll see what we get. So yeah, we got a little bit of carrots, a little bit of rice. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, so rice cooked to perfection. Nearly. I feel like it's maybe a hair bit on the soggy-ish side, but otherwise, like, why did no one tell me that curry powder and rice went so well together? Why has no one done this till now? Because this is like genuinely good. Oh yeah. That's good. That's really good. Okay, so the rice, the veg, all that stuff, really good. Turns out really well. Real question. Real question comes down to, how's the cheese play into all this? How well does the cheese support the rest of the dish? Which I would like to get like a nice chunk of rice combined with the cheese. This is also my first time trying this cheese, so let's see how it is. I like it. You know what? I'm not floored by this, but at the same time, it's good. It's good. It's a meal I'm happy with, which a meal I'm happy with automatically starts out at like, let's see, 7 out of 10 stars. So I feel like this could probably use a little bit more salt. As far as things that it could like use more of, I know it's trying to get a lot of its salt from the bullion. That's probably how it's going to get most of its salt, but with the amount of rice we have here, and granted, I do feel like for just eyeballing the amount of rice to veg ratios here, I did really well, because it's like definitely lots of rice. Rice being the backbone of the dish, but you also have plenty of the corn, plenty of the carrots, plenty of the peas to provide visual contrast and also like contrast with the dish. Like anytime you take a bite, you're gonna get some veg with it, and that's good. That's really good. Granted, I did envision this dish to being 3 servings. I'm going to say that these are 3 hearty servings. These are 3 large servings of food. But otherwise, like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm really happy with this. So we'll take a few more bits off and kind of keep trying it a little bit. Continue to appreciate the dish. Is the game plan. Yeah, I gotta say, it's pretty good. I feel like you could use a little bit more salt. But past that, I feel like that's like the main addition it could use. Ooh, I do forget there was supposed to be one more addition to this. Brienne's a good cheese and works well when warmed. Well, it's been warmed and it certainly has been a good cheese. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Like, especially for any recipe, because some of the anime stuff that's put out there is like, hey, here's like someone like making food, and they don't like necessarily always share like the details with you. That's one of my big qualms with a lot of your camp's food, is a lot of the food in your camp isn't super detail oriented. It doesn't have a lot of ratios. It doesn't tell you how much to this, to that. And for someone like me who wants to make it, I have to do some interpretation. Also, another kind of demark to your camp's food is a lot of the food that they make on the show is meant for a whole group of people. I live in a household of 1. So, 1 human being needs to eat all this food. So, I kind of prefer the recipes that are a little bit more geared towards who I am, where I am at in life, is where my bias lies. in terms of... Come on. Hey now. I heard that snap, pop, and crackle. Don't be talking back to me at like that, fire. I'll take this canopy down. If I take this canopy down, you're gonna get your butt drenched. Granted, it's funny how this canopy because I've used it several times for these streams, just reeks of campfire smoke. Like as soon as I open up the canopy bag, it just reeks of campfire smoke. But yeah. This was good. This was good. Now, would I make this again? Is a maybe. This is definitely something I want to add. I definitely want to add a little bit of salt to it. But otherwise, this stuff's amazing. It's pretty good. Really good. I gotta hand it to some people who create the shows. I like to, well, not gonna lie, I'm actually literally just watching the what was it again? Food for the Soul anime, simply for content. Because I knew they would share recipes, and like episode 2 was this recipe, and it's like, hey, look at that. That's content right there. Because I'm making this over a campfire. I'm doing it, but a little bit differently than how it was done on the show. Yeah, I'm also laughing about the fact that the Shokugeki no Soma manga has wait, the actual manga has okay. I actually had a friend of mine make the gotcha roast from like the first episode. Like he actually made it as like a thing for one of my friend's birthdays. And that was actually pretty good. Granted, I don't know if at the okay, at the end of each book there was recipes. That's nice. That's actually real nice. I just enjoyed the anime because if I'm being honest, I'm not a big fan of manga. Because if I sit down on the couch and pick up a manga, 45 minutes go by and I'm done with the manga. Whereas if I read like a light novel or something, well, it got me to try making. Okay. I literally made mapo tofu because of angel beats. Was kind of my motivations for making it. Granted, like mapo tofu is basically like one of like the great comfort dishes of Chinese cuisine. I'm trying to think like in terms of like American cuisine, what would be like a deeply held. Yeah, this is like really good. Like chili. I think chili is like a really... I'll do manga usually if I can't wait for the anime, if the anime ends early like I have for all the gangsta mangas. Okay. I can see that. I mean, I'm usually willing to wait for the anime. Because that gives me time to get into various other things. Usually I'll if a series looks really good in the anime and I like it enough, I'll usually pick up the light novel. Like, I've done that for So What, I'm a Spider. That time I was reincarnated as a slime. How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom. Granted, I started reading Realist Hero before the anime came out. Chili is close. Like, Mobo Tofu is it's a pretty new dish. And was regional from, you know what? You're right. You're right about that. Yeah, but it's kind of like the same, like, class of, like, dish, where it's, like, it's relatively simple and straightforward as far as its, like, actual execution, but doing it at a level that actually impresses people, you actually have to know what you're doing. But, yeah. I do agree with all those points, though. Great. Man. I'm not sure how warped my viewpoints on food are, because I will say my viewpoints on food are a little bit limited, because my parents didn't do a whole lot of cooking. My first college degree is in culinary arts. Thank Christ I don't work in food. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. My first college degree is an associate's in science. I was never meant to be good in any one thing. I'm just a generalist in all things. Is how I've generally been throughout my life. This is empty. I wish to fix that. And we're gonna do this with some Rheingeist kiwi. And I do think it's real funny that they go kiwi, the bird. So it's a science heck, yeah. Yeah, that's my well. So my journey through my journey through both the general education system and the college one could only be described as an absolutely massive train wreck. That I could get into details, but we might be here for a while if I get into the details. But basically, I took 1 year of community college, and then I transferred to a state university for forestry. And then after that year of forestry, I looked at my bank account and it's like, lol, there's no money left. And, well, I can't do college anymore. So, no more college anymore. And so I started working, did a bunch of different jobs, and then eventually I realized all these college credits I have eventually expire. So I should probably take them, wrap them in that nice Christmas wrapping paper called a degree, and then they don't expire anymore. So I went back to community college and got my associate in science, so that way none of my credits, well, I could at least have something to, at least went through all that college and got something. And also made sure my credits didn't expire. Was the whole lead up to the associate in science. Granted, I'm really glad I got my associate in science simply because of the fact I got to take college chemistry. And I knew nothing of chemistry. But I got into chemistry, and like 1 month in, I'm like, wow, this chemistry thing is like, what if math and science had a baby? And I really like this baby, and I'm good at this. Like, it was real funny. My teacher. She liked me. I liked her. She was a great teacher. Granted, she was also really great. I feel like she brought a very unique energy to the class because she basically retired from high school teaching and then just took up like community college teaching as just like, hey, something to just like do, have like a little bit of fun with. So she was a teacher who was great to have fun with. And at one point in time, during a class, she was like talking about, we got on the subject of scientific notation. And she was talking about scientific notation, and she's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. This is why you need to take college algebra before you take my class. And then I just blurred out, I didn't take college algebra. And she was actually writing on the whiteboard. And she stops writing, slowly turns around, looks me dead in the eye, and then just slowly articulates the following sentence. My best student isn't supposed to tell me he hasn't taken my prereq. That was one of the two best moments I've had in that class. It was an absolutely amazing class. I had such a great time. Like, I enjoyed her so much as a community college teacher. I still know her full first name. Well, not whole first name. I know her first and last name, which I don't want to divulge the name, but the initials is RF, are her initials. But she was amazing. It was great. That was one of the two greatest moments. Cooking with Addie. Where am I in YouTube? So this is the VTubing section, and this is, you've stumbled across a very weird VTuber who does like Campfire Cooking streams, and I finished making the food, and now I am yammering about past experiences I had in college. Specifically chemistry, because I had a really good time in chemistry. But yeah. So I just told the story of one of my two greatest moments in my chemistry class, and this is like basic chemistry, by the way. I told one of the two stories. Story number 2 of those two greatest times in my time of taking basic chemistry was my teacher was like, okay, class, we have to cover a lot of material with this test. This test is going to be big. It's going to be a lot. So I come to you with a proposition. You have two options. Option 1, you do the full test in class. Option 2 is you take the multiple choice home, you do the multiple choice at home, and then we'll do the written parts in class. And we're going to take it to a vote. So what she did is she did the whole like thing where she made like 2 columns, and then she's like, okay, who here supports doing the test at home and in class? And like 80% of the class raised their hands in support of that, because that was the easy route. And then he's like, okay, class, who wants to do the whole test in class? I was the only person who raised their hand, And she saw my hand, made a tick mark in that column, and then turned around to me and goes, "You lose." Oh, just a truly wonderful chemistry teacher. I loved her. She was amazing. And also, I just have like, I also have this weird thing where I like kind of being like, if I'm like the best student in class, I kind of like to be a little bit of an asshole about it with the teacher, not rest of the class, just the teacher. Because there's been some other times in some other classes where I've been like the top student, and like there was one time where I had a teacher and she was like, "Okay, class, can someone other than Sugi give me the answer?" And I just raised my hand and kept it raised. And she's like, "Class, class, class, does anyone have the answer? Does anyone have the answer?" And she's just like desperately looking across the classroom, and then looks at me and just like eventually gives it, and is like, "God damn it, Sugi, give me the answer." And it's like, "Here's the answer." Granted, I had a lot of fun with, I don't know about some other people's experience with college, but generally speaking, college was fun for me, because I was actually homeschooled from 7th all the way to the graduation of high school. So I spent a lot of time, well, whenever I was like, all my like homeschooled coursework basically went ungraded. I could literally do whatever I wanted when I was in homeschool. Like I could just, like if I just wanted to like sit down in front of the TV and watch, well, okay, I'm not sure how many people will know of what I speak, but there's a show on the History Channel called Modern Marvels, and if there was a Modern Marvels marathon happening, you better believe my 16-year-old butt is going to be glued to that TV for like probably like a good 5 or 6 hours. Which I feel like really paves the way for like the me of now, who is like, "Oh boy, my favorite logistics YouTuber just uploaded like this like horrendously like this like 25-minute video on the logistics of corn. Let's go." The things that made me who I am today. But yeah. Oh, that and yeah, that and how it's made were absolutely goated. Absolutely goated. But yeah. So since we kind of got like someone new here who's like hasn't like seen much of the food, here's the food. The rice is yellow from curry powder. And basically, it's not super. We didn't get super heavy with the seasoning on this. Really, all the seasoning that went into this was curry powder and some beef bouillon, coupled with a quote-unquote secret ingredient amount of what we here in the States call that good old apple juice. Yikes. Rain's coming down, and the rain's also pouring on my workbench station thing, and thankfully oh, thank you. Yeah, it's for a recipe that comes from an anime, they don't really give you a lot of details, so you kind of have to like fill those in for yourself. And I basically had to like so we've got like diced carrots in here, we have peas, we have the onions are a little bit they've become a little bit translucent slash yellow. And then we've also got corn, which the corn is really hard to see. The corn is atrociously hard to see because of the yellow from the curries, from the curry seasoning. But I gotta say, like, for a recipe that basically came from a show of, that's another one of those like shows where it's like watching cute girls do cute stuff. Reasonably solid recipe. I really like the addition of cheese. Well, hit 1:30 over here. Oh my, oh wowie, that's late. Oh my goodness, that's late. Keepers creepers. What time zone's that? I'm trying to. That's really late. Yeah, because I'm not sure if you can tell or not, but like the sun's literally starting to set here. But I'm also set in EDT time zone. Is currently where I'm based. UK. Oh wowie. Oh wowie. It is very late for you then. Granted, that's nice. I mean, I'll be honest, like I don't think I've ever had a European viewer show up. Like I've had people from India, Brazil. Ah, I got a day off college. Very nice. Take advantage of those. Take advantage of any days off college you get. Especially to get caught up on stuff. Graham, I'm not entirely sure. Are your semesters wrapping up? Like, because, like, here in the States, right about, well, honestly, now, if not next week, would be, like, finals week for most college people. Where I'm at. And granted, there is, like, usually some pretty... There's usually a bit of a breather time between the end of the like the course and like boom, finals week. Or at least like finals week is like really light because you just have to like do your tests, which they can either be okay, same here. Okay, I didn't know if it was. I have no idea what college is like in other countries. I'm sure there's similarities because of oh, okay, you got like 5 weeks left. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, at least okay. So you probably don't do as much of like a summer break or a summer semester. Granted, summer semesters here can be kind of brutal. Because I actually took some summer courses 2 years ago. And basically the pace of work for a summer course was like, I would have like to read 2 chapters of material per week. And I had to maintain that pace for like 8 weeks. From early June to either late July, early August. For when I did summer courses, and wowie, that killed me. That killed me. Granted, big reason why it killed me was, and that, by the way, I only took 2 courses. I also started a job in a new industry, so I basically spent my entire day learning stuff on the job, and then I had to go home and learn even more stuff, and my brain never had to stop learning, and I only survived that summer because of alcohol. Some semesters are brutal. We had 4 to 6 weekends. That was all the material compressed. Oh, yeah. Which I think like this one time where I took like summer classes was like the one time in my life I took summer classes, and I just decided to start a new job. I got 5 hours of exam ahead of me. Okay. That cannot be fun. I did have, so for a period of time in my university, but pretty chill. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. For me, I had a dendrology course, which I think, and what dendrology is it's basically like tree identification, which was fun because one of the best places to find a very big mix of trees is a cemetery. So I got to be able to say I've taken a final in a cemetery. And 2, this final involved a lot of walking around because we pretty much like made like the whole rounds of this like fairly large cemetery. It was like the biggest cemetery in the city, because bigger the cemetery, the more variety of trees there are to identify. And I think that final took over 5 hours, just because we would, like the class, once we got to the cemetery, everyone would pile out of the vans, and then the professor would like find a tree and be like, okay, class, gather around this tree, identify this tree. And you'll have like a little note card, and then you'll write what you think the common name is, what you think the Latin name is, and the genus name for it. So, for example, I am currently sitting in the shade of a red maple, common name, Latin name, Acer rubus, and genus is Ace. Okay, that was the sound of a bunch of water falling in my chair, sorry. And then the genus, not the genus, family name was the Aceraceae. And you would write those things on a little card, and then you'll give them to the TA. TA would take them, bind them up, and then he would have like he knew what the tree was. And then he would put like his correct answer, and that's how like the grading was done. So then that was like the process for one tree, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna take a 5-minute walk and go to the next tree. And that was my dendrology final, which was the longest, and also involved lots of walking and lots of spelling. And I'm a very weak speller, so that was a particularly like challenging semester. I do like food, like chef, running a business, stuff like that. Okay. I mean, that can be pretty hard though. I mean, I'm literally doing this too. By the way, your sound's going off. Yeah, I was. The problem is if I talk about trees, I tend to get a little bit, like, I'll get like a little bit too high and in terms of volume, and then my mic goes off. There's also a fair amount of like surrounding noise. because it's actually fairly actively raining right now. But it's cool that you're getting into like the food business. I mean, that can be fun. Wow, wait. Man, this has been a fun day. This has been a real fun day. No, your voice is this. Okay. I think I feel like that's because I do try to monitor my audio levels, but I think when I get too loud, the mic just cuts out. And then, granted, there's also depending on other times, which I haven't done like recently, like if I get away, maybe I'll, yeah, I think it's something like that. At one point in time, or noise gated, yeah, I think it's that. At one point in time, I had it set up to where it was pretty good at picking up my voice all the time, but with those audio settings, it just killed my power tool sounds, and it also just didn't like pick up a lot of other sounds. With I geared the mic settings towards like picking up my voice, and then it only picked up my voice, which for some streamers, they want that. Me, I would like to pick up a little bit more of like the surrounding sounds, because I'm pretty sure the rain hitting the canopy right now, you guys can, I don't think that's loud enough for you guys to hear. Maybe. So that's been kind of like the audio balance conundrum. And for, yep. I actually have bought Bluetooth mics so that, there, I cut out again. So I do have a Bluetooth mic that I do need to like properly like set up, get configured, all that good stuff. So, because I really want that for streams where I'm building large projects and I'm having to move around the shop. Like today, for instance, I'm pretty much sitting in place and just doing my thing. Like it's no big deal. Whereas for like larger projects where I'm moving around a lot, I definitely would want that dual mic setup. But overall, this has worked and I'm familiar with it, so this is kind of what I ran with, even though it does have like some issues. And by the way, that's my last piece of wood for tonight. Well, last piece of wood I'm planning on throwing on this tonight. Or at least like of the firewood I pulled for this. Ooh. Okay. So, I gotta say, this has been a good recipe. This has been a good stream. It's starting to get dark, and it's also starting to get late, and I have to work in the morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping up stream here, so that way I can actually start get a meal put in my belly, get this saved for later, and all that good stuff. So I'd like to extend a big yay. But I'd like to extend a big thank you to everyone who showed up today. This recipe turned out amazing. I'm not entirely sure when I'll do a general write-up. Anyway, I'm going to bed. It was a pleasure meeting you. Oh, it was a pleasure meeting you, Cooking with Adi. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, definitely get some rest. It's very late. But yeah. At some point, I want to do... I might do a write-up of this as terms of, like, a somewhat actual formal recipe, and I will be somewhere in the description. Give me 48 hours to do that, because I don't know what the next couple hours of my life are the next 24 hours of my life are gonna look like. So I'll have a write-up at some point in the description, at least of the stuff I used for tonight. So with that, I hope all of you out there have a great rest of your night, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. And yeah, this is Sugi Yamagawa, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.